and it's not just limited at, like for instance, I have a skill in talent. I have a talent in writing, and people will just say, "Can you look this over for me?" And make it nice. Yeah, make it nice. Add your words, Kiki. What your words are, and then and then I would sit there, and because I am who I am, I would say, okay, Gabona, I'm supposed to just fix words and dot the I's and cross the T's. But context, now I'm here saying, let me Google this person, this thing, because once I get something, I can't let it go when it's not 100% what I would want to go out there. I've done this for book writers who've published books. Like, I literally changed his whole chapter, turned it around, gave it context, not having been paid for that. I was just paid to do proofreading. But I went, researched, and gave him context and whatever. And that's my time that I will never get back. But surprisingly, you find even in professions where you don't think that would happen, where we know it's a well-known profession and an old profession where we know that we're supposed to pay these people will phone Sefu and say, can I have your legal opinion? Can I have your... And now she must take time out of her day to do so, So we experience a lot of that. So sometimes people will know that they need to pay you. And then they would say things like, it will count as experience because you're trying to build a portfolio. I get you said yes, you wanted to build your portfolio. Or in the case of Busi, give me your book. I'll give you another book that's lying around in the house. I don't have to buy most if I give you another book. And Busi is self-published. She's trying to make money off this talent of hers. And then someone just wants to grab a book that doesn't even have value for them and get something more valuable from Busi. Battering with your skills. And then the most famous one, exposure. It will give you exposure. You're still trying to build yourself, or it's free advertising, man. I'll advertise you somewhere. So do this for me. Come speak at my event. I'll advertise you. You're building your profile. And then some would just say, please do me this favor. It's a favor. You must be, So these are the kind of things that we literally, and we never talk about. We don't talk about them enough. And so today I'm going to be talking about how do we increase our value beyond just saying no. What else can we do to show people that what I am doing is of value and you need to pay for it. So first of all, what I would like to say is, if someone says build experience portfolio, yes, it's a valid point. Sometimes you do need that, let's be honest. Ne? But you have to ask yourself, will it build credibility for me? For, it's this person saying they are building my portfolio. Are other potential clients going to look at what I've done for them and say, wow, that's a good client. I'll also like this person to do my service. Is it worth it? And then, obviously with battering, you have to look at the value, like what you're getting in return. Is it valuable? Like you pull an old book out of your shelf and you want to give it to Lucy for her. Is it worth it? And then exposure and free advertising. Ne? This is a contentious one, but you really have to consider, do I really need the exposure? Don't just throw it because someone used it and that now it's a catchphrase everywhere. You can't pay someone with exposure. But sometimes you have to look at it and say, the exposure, is it going to be to a quality audience that I'm looking for? For instance, I'll give you an example. My personal trainer works as a sole proprietor, contracted to Virgin Active, so he pays rent there and whatever, but he has the job of building her own client base within Virgin Active. So he has to hustle. As people come in, he has to keep his eyes on the ground for new members so that he can become their personal trainer, right? But at the same time, Virgin Active says to him, as part of our promotional whatever for the next 3 months, we are offering to everyone who comes in a session with a personal trainer. That's the way they hook people into say, we'll give you a session with a personal trainer, right? But now they want this guy who's a hustler who pays them rent and everything to provide that service as if he works for Virgin Active, you know? And so I asked him, like, is it worth it? Because what he said as well is that he would charge a certain amount for his hour. But then when these people come, Virgin Active only offers him 50% of what you make in an hour. So obviously they're already, he's feeling for he's been such changed. But he says, I do it because it's a quality audience. It's a person coming for the first time into the gym. They don't even know how the machines are working. They probably have fitness goals that they don't even know how they're going to navigate. So I take it for, okay, I'm getting 50% less. But if I use that 1 hour with that client, if I use it to my benefit, that's one-on-one marketing there with a quality person who's coming in. So he takes it because of that. So even though it's exposure, it's worth it because it's a quality audience. That's number one. Number two, is it quantifiable? If a person says, I'm going to expose you, is it quantifiable? How are you going to, can we do the numbers? Because in advertising, when you advertise in a newspaper, you already know it's going to reach so many readers and whatever. This person who are remote advertiser, exactly how many people are going to see this? Let alone quality of person, quantity then, you know, because you need to quantify. And so when a person says, hi man, ke tla go beya ko statusing, I get right na le my business WhatsApp, ke tla go beya ko statusing, I'm exposing you. That's not like, how many people are going to see your status, ma'am? You know, so it has to be quantifiable. You can't just say you're going to expose me, but there are no numbers to say how many people are you exposed to, how many people are following you. Is it 3 million? Is it 2 people? You know, so you have to look at those things as well. That's dealing with the issues of, you know, people wanting to pay you in kind, basically. Favors, it's difficult because most of the people that ask you for favors are family members and friends and close associates who you have developed a personal relationship with. But it depends entirely on the relationship, you know, and that one you have to make a call for yourself. But at the same time, you have to be able to be diplomatic enough and tell them and be firm when you can't do it. Or you have to they can't come in and ask for favors and then dictate the terms of delivery and whatever. But it's also about trust relationship, because sometimes there is reciprocation as well. If you know, if I do this for Teko, I know her, she will do this for me. So with favors, it's very glib because it goes into the personal space. But that's what you can do as well. Okay, but I need to go deeper because we have a tendency of, you know, saying people are unprofessional, they're always asking us for favors. But to be quite honest, if we look ourselves in the eye, the reasons for this are sometimes rest with us and how we project ourselves. Okay. Well, some skills or careers are always going to be susceptible to that. I just gave an example of an attorney. People feel they can just get advice for free. But funny enough, when you have a doctor in the family, you don't say, can I come through, can I leave flu? You know you have to pay them, even if they are your uncle. You know you have to pay them. So some professions and skills are susceptible to just people. It's a cultural thing, I don't know. It's a culture of just expecting people to do it for free. But with some, you know, so that's one reason. But the biggest reason that I want to talk about is us not projecting ourselves as people who have valuable skills that people need to pay for. Let's be honest. Sometimes we do not do that. So